Welcome to our deep dives today. I know our listeners are devout Catholics and are fascinated by the spread of Christianity, especially to new lands. We'll be exploring Adam of Bremen's Gesta Hammaburgensis Ecclesiae Pontificum.
Oh, a great choice.
Yeah. It's a chronicle that, while focused on Northern Europe, offers valuable insights into the challenges and triumphs of early Christian missions.
You're right, this chronicle doesn't directly mention the New World. But think of it this way. It details missionary efforts in Scandinavia and even Greenland, offering parallels that can help us understand the later Christianization of the Americas. It's like studying the playbook of early missions.
Okay, so Adam paints this picture of a world vastly different from our own. Vast forests, harsh winters, and a strong presence of pagan beliefs. He seems to view Saxony, with its growing Christian influence, as a bulwark against those he considered barbarians. It must have been a truly wild time.
What's intriguing is how Adam uses geography to illustrate this clash of cultures. The rivers Elbe and Oder are mentioned repeatedly, almost like they represent these symbolic borders between Christendom and the pagan lands beyond.
Between the Christian world and the pagan world.
It's a powerful way to visualize the frontier of faith.
And on that frontier, some incredible figures emerged.
Oh, absolutely.
Adam talks about missionaries like Wilhad and Ansgar. Imagine sailing across treacherous seas, facing the unknown, all to spread the word of God. Their courage and conviction must have been extraordinary.
Their stories really resonate, don't they? These men weren't just preachers, they were pioneers, explorers driven by unwavering faith. And their experiences, the dangers, the cultural barriers, the need to adapt their message, these themes echo through the journeys of those who later brought Christianity to the Americas.
It's amazing to consider those parallels.
Yeah.
Now, Adam describes this pivotal moment, the conversion of King Harald Bluetooth of Denmark to Christianity. What a turning point. It wasn't just a personal decision. It had massive implications for the entire region.
Absolutely. That conversion had a ripple effect, opening doors for missionary work and signaling a shift in power dynamics.
Of course.
But Adam also makes it clear that conversions didn't always mean smooth sailing. There were setbacks, ongoing conflicts, and a constant tension between the old ways and the new faith.
And he doesn't shy away from the darker side of the story either. Adam talks about the conflicts with pagan tribes, like the Wends, who, by the way, were a Slavic group known for their fierce resistance to Christianity. He even describes the destruction of Christian settlements. It's a reminder that the spread of Christianity wasn't always a peaceful affair.
What's fascinating here is that Adam, even as he's chronicling the victories of Christianity, reveals the complexities of imposing a new faith.
Yeah.
It wasn't just about preaching and converting, it was about power struggles, cultural clashes, and sometimes violence.
And it's a theme that resonates throughout history, wouldn't you say? Even in the later spread of Christianity in the Americas, we see these same patterns of conflict and cultural exchange.
Precisely. Adam might not have set foot in the New World, but his chronicle offers a lens through which we can understand the broader dynamics of religious expansion.
And speaking of expansion, Adam mentions those Norse settlements in Greenland. The fact that they adopted Christianity is intriguing, this connection between Scandinavia and a land across the Atlantic.
It really highlights the interconnectedness of those communities, even across vast distances. Christianity wasn't confined to mainland Europe. It traveled with the Norse as they explored and settled new lands. It begs the question, did those early Norse settlers view Christianity as a tool for cultural dominance, or did they genuinely embrace it?
It makes you wonder about the lives of those early Christians in Greenland.
Yeah.
How did they practice their faith in such a remote and challenging environment?
We don't get those specific details from Adam, unfortunately. His focus is primarily on mainland Europe. But what he does offer is a framework for understanding the broader forces at play, the motivations, the challenges, the complex interplay of faith and culture.
And within those cultures, there were figures who became almost legendary. Adam shares the tragic story of King Olaf of Norway, a Christian king martyred by his own people. His story really highlights the power and the fragility of those early Christian kingdoms.
King Olaf's martyrdom is a potent symbol, isn't it? He became a revered saint in Scandinavia, embodying both the strength and vulnerability of their faith.
Right.
But it also reveals the often brutal realities of power struggles and how easily religious ideals could be overshadowed by political ambitions.
It's important to remember that Adam was a Christian scholar writing from a particular perspective, While he strives for accuracy, there's an element of religious propaganda in his work, wouldn't you say?
Yes, Adam's Chronicle is a valuable historical source, but it's crucial to read between the lines.
Absolutely.
He's presenting a narrative that glorifies the spread of Christianity and that inevitably shapes his portrayal of events and individuals.
So how do we, as modern readers, navigate those inherent biases?
By asking critical questions, by seeking out alternative perspectives, and by recognizing that history is rarely a simple story of good versus evil.
Right.
It's a complex tapestry woven from countless threads, each with its own unique color and texture.
As we're talking about these power dynamics, I'm reminded of Adam's account of Charlemagne granting a large tract of land along the Elbe River for the establishment of a new bishopric in Bremen. It sounds like a strategic move, almost like establishing a forward operating base for Christianity.
It absolutely was strategic. Charlemagne, already a powerful figure in the spread of Christianity, recognized the importance of solidifying Christian influence in this region. Remember those symbolic borders we discussed? This was a way to push that boundary, to create a strong Christian presence in an area still steeped in pagan traditions.
It's not just about spreading the word, but also about asserting power and influence. And what about those who carried the word, those intrepid missionaries who ventured even further north into Scandinavia? I'm particularly interested in Ansgar, the Apostle of the North. Did Adam share much about his experiences?
Ansgar's story is one of the most captivating parts of the Chronicle. Adam details the incredible hardships he faced, even imprisonment, as he tried to bring Christianity to the Vikings. It's a testament to his unwavering faith and the sheer will it must have taken to persevere.
Imagine the inner strength required to face such adversity, to hold on to your faith when surrounded by those who view it as a threat. Did Ansgar experience any moments of doubt, any wavering in his conviction?
It's a question worth pondering. While Adam highlights his unyielding faith, it's only natural to wonder if Ansgar ever grappled with those human emotions, doubt, fear, perhaps even despair. It's possible that other historical accounts, maybe personal letters, could reveal a more nuanced picture.
It's those human elements that make these historical figures so relatable, so real. And amidst those struggles, did Ansgar achieve any measure of success? Did the Vikings show any openness to Christianity?
He did have some success, against all odds. He managed to establish a small Christian community in Birka, a major Viking training center in Sweden. Imagine that a tiny seed of Christianity planted in a land deeply rooted in pagan traditions. It was a hard-won victory, a testament to his resilience.
And perhaps a sign that Christianity had a certain allure, even in a culture so different from its origins. But as we discuss these early missions, I keep coming back to Greenland. That connection to those Norse settlements and their adoption of Christianity, it's fascinating.
It's a detail that captures the imagination, isn't it? Adam's mention of Greenland is brief, but it speaks volumes about the far-reaching influence of Christianity. It was a faith that traveled with explorers, that crossed oceans and found a home in the most unexpected places.
And it sparks so many questions. What was it like for those early Christians in Greenland, practicing their faith in such a remote and challenging environment? Did they interact with the indigenous people already living there? Did they face similar conflicts and cultural clashes as those missionaries in mainland Europe?
We don't get those answers from Adam, unfortunately. His focus is on the events closer to home, so to speak. But his chronicle serves as a launchpad for further exploration. It makes us want to delve into those hidden chapters of history, to uncover the stories of those who carried the faith to those distant shores.
It's like he's giving us a glimpse into a much larger world, a world where faith and exploration were intertwined, and where the journey of Christianity was just beginning. And speaking of journeys, Adam doesn't just chronicle the successes, he also acknowledges the setbacks and complexities.
Yes, those accounts, while sometimes brief, are crucial for a balanced understanding. He describes the destruction of churches, the resistance from various pagan tribes, even the martyrdom of those who dared to spread the Christian message. It reminds us that the path of faith was often fraught with danger and sacrifice.
It makes you appreciate the sheer courage of those early Christian communities, their willingness to persevere in the face of adversity. It speaks to a profound level of conviction, wouldn't you say? And it also highlights the fragility of faith in a world where political ambitions and power struggles could so easily erupt.
Absolutely. And it underscores the fact that the spread of Christianity wasn't just about religious conversion, it was deeply intertwined with social and political dynamics. We see this in Adam's accounts of kings and chieftains who converted, often facing opposition from their own people. Those must have been incredibly difficult choices, balancing personal conviction with the realities of leadership.
It makes you wonder what motivated those choices. Was it genuine spiritual transformation, a calculated political move, or perhaps a complex blend of both? Adam's Chronicle, in a way, invites us to step into the shoes of those individuals to try and understand the forces that shape their decisions.
And it reminds us that history isn't a simple narrative of good versus evil, but rather a tapestry woven from countless threads of human experience. Each decision, each conflict, each act of faith or resistance adds another layer to that tapestry, creating a rich and often messy picture of the past.
And it's a picture that continues to resonate today, wouldn't you say? Those same tensions between faith and power, between cultural exchange and conflict, they're still playing out in our modern world.
Exactly. Adam's Chronicle, while focused on a specific time and place, offers us insights that transcend those boundaries. It's a reminder that the human story, in all its complexity and beauty, is an ongoing journey.
It strikes me that even though Adam is writing about events centuries ago, his observations about the interplay of faith and culture feel incredibly relevant today. Do you think he saw those early missionary efforts as purely about converting individuals, or was there a sense of transforming entire societies?
That's a great question. I think for Adam, it was both. He clearly believed in the power of individual conversion, of bringing souls to Christ, but he also understood that Christianity, as it spread, had the potential to reshape entire communities, their laws, their customs, their very way of life.
He mentions those pagan beliefs that were so prevalent in these northern lands. Did he see them as merely obstacles to overcome, or was there a sense of respect, maybe even a fascination with these different ways of understanding the world?
Well, while Adam viewed Christianity as the true faith, the one destined to prevail, he also meticulously documented those pagan beliefs.
He did, yeah.
He described their gods, their rituals, their reverence for nature. It's almost like he was trying to grasp, maybe even grapple with, the worldview of those he considered other.
It makes you wonder, how did those early missionaries approach those deeply ingrained beliefs? Did they attempt to completely erase them, or did they find ways to bridge the gap, to build connections between the old ways and the new?
It's a question that goes to the heart of cultural exchange, doesn't it? Adam doesn't provide explicit answers, but his chronicle hints at a complex process of adaptation and negotiation. Perhaps they found common ground in shared values, in a reverence for the power of creation. Maybe they incorporated elements of local lore into Christian narratives, making the message more relatable to those steeped in their own traditions.
It's fascinating to imagine that process of cultural blending, how Christianity, as it encountered new cultures, was itself transformed. And amidst that transformation, there were those who resisted, those who clung to their ancestral beliefs even as Christianity gained ground. How does Adam address those who chose not to convert?
He doesn't dwell on them, focusing mainly on the successes of the missions.
Right.
But his accounts of conflicts, of the destruction of sacred sites, of the martyrdom of Christian figures reveal a reality where the spread of faith wasn't always peaceful or welcomed.
Of course.
It's a reminder that the imposition of any belief system, even one rooted in love and compassion, can have unintended consequences.
It's a lesson that echoes throughout history, isn't it? Even with the best intentions, attempts to convert or civilize have often resulted in cultural clashes and even violence. Adam, perhaps unintentionally, gives us a glimpse into that darker side of religious expansion.
And by doing so, he challenges us to look beyond the simple narrative of triumph and conversion, to consider the perspectives of those whose voices aren't always heard in historical accounts, to grapple with the complex legacies, both positive and negative, that are woven into the tapestry of faith and cultural exchange.
Adam of Bremen never reached the New World, but his chronicle, in a way, foreshadows the challenges and triumphs of bringing Christianity to new lands, mirroring themes that would play out centuries later in the Americas. It encourages us to consider the parallels between these early missions and the later spread of Christianity across the globe.
And by understanding the complexities of these early efforts, we gain valuable insights into the ongoing impact of religion and cultural exchange. It's a story that continues to unfold even today, a reminder that the journey of faith, both individually and collectively, is rarely straightforward but always profoundly human.